What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the TMT Cyberbee B127, or their version of a Masterpiece scale Cybertronian Bumblebee from the Bumblebee movie. Those 2 minutes of CGI scenes that we saw where they actually showed him on Cybertron. And it's a pretty cool looking version of Bumblebee. TMT, I haven't looked at anything from them, but they've made a couple of figures, not a lot. So this is one of the very first figures, and I have to say, it's pretty cool looking. Let's take a look at some of the details. This was sent to me by Dr. Diecast, by the way. Thanks for allowing me to take a look at your copy. But you got that nice weathering effect all throughout. You got almost like a, dirty. He's kind of crashed up a little bit. Looks like it's hand painted all throughout. You got a little bit of that. On the legs, you got some of this bronze paint with a little bit of this. Looks like a wash. It's hard to tell, but it looks like there's a wash over the bronze. So you can see some of that here, on here. The bronze is kind of all throughout. There is die cast in here, the thighs, a little bit on the feet. Some of the bronze parts overall. It is pretty hefty. Here's the back of the figure. Has a little bit of kibble here, but it cleans up pretty nice. Overall, it's a really nice looking version of Cybertronian Bumblebee. We do get some really nice articulation, so let's take a look at that. The head is on a ball joint, goes down to there, up to there. Doesn't really go that far past. It's on a peg, so you can pull it off, but that's about all you get up and down. And it rotates around on the ball joint. Not really any side to side. Later, we'll talk about the features on the head. Shoulders rotate around on a ratchet joint. It does collide with this wheel, but you can move it out of the way. You have up and down joint on the shoulder, on a ratchet. You have a rotation here at the bicep. It does break the sculpt here on this piece, but you can't rotate it there. You can also move this piece on a ball joint, the shoulder pad, and then kind of realign that so you have a consistent look. Nice detail there on the shoulder as well. You also have a rotation here at the elbow, so you can do that as well. 90-degree bend at the elbow on a ratchet. Wrist is on a ball joint. Everything's nicely toleranced on here. Nothing's too tight or too loose. So up and down, in and out, and rotation. Fingers are on a pin at the single knuckle and at the base, and then the thumb is on a ball joint and a pin. So you get some nice design for the hand there. And later we'll talk about the weapons. There's a hidden weapon as well. Coming down to the waist, you don't get a waist rotation just due to the design, but there is an ab crunch. You kind of have to unlock it here. This tab is what holds it together, and we'll see that in the transformation, but it's a very tight joint. It's hard to get released, but once you release it, you can get it down to there. And then you can peg that back in. Going to the legs, you have a leg rotation all the way up to there, just to the sculpt. You can get it way up, again, on a ratchet joint, back to there on the ratchet joint. Out to the side on a ratchet, although it does collide here with this piece. So you just have to be careful. You can't get it out to the side. We have rotation at the thigh around a universal. Some die cast in here. You have a 90-degree bend at the knee on a ratchet. Lots of ratchets. You have a cover down piece here, covers up the ankle. You have an ankle tilt for side to side, forward and backward, and then this ankle piece can also move, so you can get it way forward, way back. You have a rotation at the foot as well. Now, as far as the gimmicks, you have some things with the head here, so let's get in close. You can see it's a really nicely detailed head with translucent blue eyes. They don't light up, there's no light up feature, but you can open up the ears from the back here. So you have that look. That's pretty cool. You can also lift up on the helmet and bring forward this battle mask. And I love how they did this because they did translucent pieces. So you can still see the blue eyes behind there. But then you can close this back down. And that's really cool. You can see the face underneath the battle mask instead of having a separate face on the battle mask. I think that's really cool. Haven't seen a lot of those. So So pretty neat head. We also get a gimmick here. So if you open up this arm panel, you lift up this little piece right here. You can fold out this sword or dagger, and it's done in really nice paint. Got blue, purple, yellow. That looks really cool. And then you can just close this back down on top and tab back in. And if you give him a fist, probably looks a little bit better. But now he's got that dagger, and you can be stabbing some Blitzwings. Very nice looking dagger, by the way. And for accessories, we get this hammer done in the same kind of bronze color with a yellow and a black wash, and then I think he put this Autobot sticker on there. That will plug into his hand right here, and then you can close the fingers around. So he's got a hammer weapon. You also get this blaster, so we can take this back out, and this will fit over the fingers. There's a tab right here, so you're going to make that attach right here, and then you're going to come around the other side, and that tab's going to attach here. So lift that over the fingers, get this one in first, and it's a little tricky to get the exact angle. And then bring this around and tab it in here. And it does become like one piece, which is pretty cool. And you can put the thumb down to hide it, but there you go. There's his blaster. Pretty cool. And you can activate it. So this is actually a magnet in here. So if you turn this and touch this, you'll see that it lights up. You touch it again, it flashes. Touch it one more time, it pulses in and out, which is pretty cool. And if you're using the battle axe in the hand, which we'll put it in here just to simulate that. Then they give you another little magnet, looks like this. And actually, I came close enough that it turned it off. So you don't have to use that magnet, you can use this one. But really nice accessories here. I really like how they did that, especially like the built-in dagger. Now, I don't have my Transformers Masterpiece Bumblebee movie Optimus, but here it is next to Magic Square Optimus, just for a sense of scale. It is actually way too big for the Masterpiece scale. It's kind of its own thing. It's sort of its own piece. Now, they're making a Bumblebee movie Optimus. I'm imagining it's going to be bigger, so the scale is going to be its own thing. So just be aware that if you're trying to fit this in with the Masterpiece movie, Masterpiece scale, it's going to be very big, very collection. All right, now let's get this guy transformed into his vehicle mode. And like I mentioned, the transformation is relatively complex. There's some parts that are going to be tricky. So I'm going to do my best to show it all on camera, but there may be times where I take a little break to fix some things. But let's start on the arms. So we're going to rotate the lower arm around. We're going to rotate the upper arm away from this. So you end up with something like this. You just lift this out to the side. We're going to detach the arm. It's just pegged into the side there. And then go ahead and do the same thing on this side. Right now that with the arms detached, we can come to the back here. This is a tricky sequence, and I watched a video where they actually did it wrong. So I'm going to show you at least the way that seems to make sense for me. But rotate this piece all the way around so that there's a clearance right here. We're going to take this piece, rotate this down, rotate the tire in. Then you're going to rotate this back around, and we want to be able to fold this down. And this is where like the clearance of this is tough. So I recommend you do it like this. And fold this down in and then fold that down. All right, same on this one. All right, now we get those out of the way. We can rotate these back up and leave them like that. We can unpeg this backpack. So I showed you this for the ab crunch. We can undo that. We're going to you can take these front panels here, unpeg this from the side. It's just pegged in right here and here. And that will release all of this. That's kind of holding this back part to the front. So you can fold this down, fold this back, fold that back. I should leave that for now, and we'll take care of the front here. So come to the top. We're going to flip, actually fold in your ears if you have them out like I did. We're going to flip the head around to the inside, and then these two little tabs will make their way in here. These guns are going to stay like that. We're going to come to the front here, and this whole section is going to unpeg from here. And we're going to accordion these back, and they're going to tab in to the side here. You can fold this down. You can see there's a little slot there on the inside. So make sure you have the arms all the way out of the way. All right, come to the back here. We're going to take this panel right here. It's actually hard to see, but this panel right here is going to open up. And these arms have to make their way back under here. A little tricky. And make sure you straighten up both arms so that they're basically straight and parallel. Or next we're bringing together this top part of the car. So go ahead and fold this in. Arms are going to work its way around the outside. There are pegs on the inside where the arms are going to attach eventually, right here. But get this folded in. These wheels are going to fit over. And we're going to get this pegged in on the front, down here, and on the sides. That's a little tricky. And then for this wheel, you're going to bring this forward, and it's going to peg in on the front, and there's a peg that's going in the middle as well. So you're going to have to look at all of that at the same time. It's a little tricky. And then same on this side. So go ahead and rotate the hands flat out like this, and the thumb straight down. Same on this one. And now we'll start on these legs, and this is definitely the hardest part and the most confusing part. So we'll start by unpegging this from here. And I'm just going to show you one leg, and we'll do the other one separately. Open this up. We're going to unpeg this entire front section so it's kind of slotted in right here on the front. So I'm going to get that over, and you want to lift this up and over. And it's a weird angle, but you got to get that over that. I'll rotate this around and take this panel, flip this down, and then this is going to come down on top. So it should look like this. And just leave this up off here right now. Then we'll take care of the piece right here. So we're going to take this. This is going to rotate out. You might have to rotate this down a little bit for this to clear. So this gets stuck on this black piece here. You can rotate this up and around and all the way out. And we can actually open up this panel. And we can actually fit this on right now. So it helps you orient a little bit. So make sure you have this leg straight. And we can tab this panel into here, and this panel into here, and then the wheel goes into there. So right, and that kind of gets this side out of the way. Now we're going to take and just move this up and out of the way, this piece here. Now we're going to take care of this foot, and this can be very tricky, but we're going to bring the heel back, unpeg this from here, rotate this heel piece in, rotate that heel piece in, and this is going to come down. On this side, there's a little tab on the inside of this, so you have to lift up on this and get this underneath, and it tabs in there. So just remember that tab's there, right? You can close this down a little bit, and then kind of the last step here is take this panel. There's a slot right there and a tab on the inside. Sort of lift this up and get this pegged into the inside of that. And now we're going to rotate this entire foot up into here, and there's a slot right here and a tab right there, and it's very irritating to get that in there, but that's how it has to go. You have to kind of line it up perfectly to get that in there, and there's a little bit of pushing plastic past plastic. Not my favorite part, but get that in. Yeah, I really don't like this sequence, but there you go, I got it. So that made its way in. And unfortunately, that is how you have to do it, but this is going to fold down, this is going to fold up. Then you're going to take this piece here, this is going to rotate around to the inside. And make its way in. There's a tab and a slot. It's actually a screw hole, but that tab's going to go into the screw hole and sit right there. Right? That's one leg and how it should look. We're going to get this up and over here. All right, now we got both legs all set. We actually have to bring in the axe or the hammer here, and we're going to slide this back like this. There's two pegs here that are going to make their way into these slots on his crotch. I'm going to get this in. And I guess you don't have to do this because it's just a storage, but I figured since we're here, might as well. Bring these up, and the hands are going to sit right in these cavities of the legs. And then there's 1, 2, 3 tabs that are going to go in on this side. So line those up and make sure those make their way in there. And peg it together. Actually, it's easier if you look from the bottom. Right. And you can see how the axe fit right in the middle there. Which is kind of neat. All right, so this is the movement. You're going to get this down. And make sure these hands are sitting flat and the thumbs are sitting flat. And get this pegged in here on the sides. All right, bring these around to the inside. Same with this one. So that fits in like that. And you make sure these feet are all the way down and these panels are up and flush. Last step here is going to bring these out. So open these up. Open these up, and we're going to bring, oops, open that up. And bring this down. There's 2 tabs here, so get those lined up and give that a nice squeeze. And you should be able to get them all squeezed together. And they actually come through more than you think. You know, they actually should make their way through. Right, this is going to sit underneath here. I'm going to open this up, open up these panels. This is going to come down. And these have to tab into the back right where these taillights are. So make sure those make its way there. And then these are going to tab in down here. All right, and then last finishing touch, go ahead and tab that into the bottom. And there you have Cyber-Bee in vehicle mode. And it's a really nice looking vehicle mode. You got that black painted stripe down the middle. You got all that weather detail we saw in the robot mode. It displays nicely here in vehicle. It does roll on these wheels. You got kind of those dirty tires. It's pretty cool. On the back you got red taillights and then some pipes back here. That looks pretty cool. All in all, it's a very nice looking vehicle mode. Some translucent headlights here that make up the chest in robot mode. You can't open up this front here. Now this is a light up feature. Unfortunately, the battery for this one, I couldn't get it to work. They go right here inside this little panel. But whatever reason, I tried multiple batteries. I just couldn't get it to light up. So with either new batteries, didn't really matter. But it does look really good. It lights up blue if you get it to work. It's a nice looking little thing there. You have some weapons. You can open these up. You can pull this out. This is very tight, so you got to kind of pull it. But you can pull these out and have little guns displayed in the front. That's pretty cool. Pop-up guns. You can also take the gun here. There's a little slot. You can tab that in to the top. Now he has that gun. And for a quick size comparison, there it is next to the Magic Square Optimus Prime. And like I mentioned earlier, it is a very large vehicle mode and robot mode. Doesn't scale with Masterpiece. I'm guessing it'll scale with its own version of Optimus Prime, but as far as B goes, it's a little too big. So final recommendations on the TMT Cyber-Bee B127. I'm going to give this a 4 to 5. I'm going to recommend it. I really like the look of the robot mode and the vehicle mode. They nailed that movie look. I like the accessories, especially the light up gun is pretty cool. These little pop-up guns here on the front, as well as this. I wish this light up feature worked, but I couldn't get it to work. The pull-out dagger from the arm is pretty neat. And then the axe, which ends up stored here, is kind of neat. That just hides away. Everything really stores here. That's something I really like. The only thing I don't like about this is the transformation is really rough, especially this back section with the feet. That part is very, very tough. And I don't know if at this point have I filmed that or if I just skipped it because that point got frustrating. I didn't want to break it since it's not my figure. But other than the transformation, I really like it. Now, it's a little bit on the big side in both modes, but I think it's going to scale well with other figures from this line, or even if you have it with the 3.0 stuff, I think it might look good with that. So it does have a place in your collection if you're a collector of the B movie action figures or Transformers. I think you're going to like this. So that's it for today. Thanks to Dr. Diecast for saying his review. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.